Welcome, Sagittarius, to your December monthly horoscope forecast. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. There's some really big news coming at the very start of this month, and you probably think it applies to Jupiter. And of course you're right. But there's more than this that's going to be very positive for you, because the month begins with the Sun in your sign, which is very invigorating. It's a busy time of the year, and obviously everyone's spinning the plates to try to cope with all the demands. But your financial sector is really given a huge boost as this month begins, not just because Jupiter moves on the 3rd to join up with Capricorn, where it will be for 54 weeks, but also as the month begins, Venus, which can be about money as much as attraction, is forging a conjunction with Ceres, the asteroid that's to do with nurture, and they're both in Capricorn too. So once Jupiter does move, yes, that gives you an enormous boost. But Venus in the second solar house is very positive, particularly alongside Ceres. So I think something's going to be flowing into your situation. It may be material, because I know the punishing impact of Saturn, particularly over the last 6 or 7 months, as it's been so close in its alliance with Pluto, has at times been very difficult to bear. Now, it just so happens that Saturn and Pluto are going to be inching ever closer together. And by the end of this month, it's almost exact. And that obviously comes to pass on the 12th of January next year. But I think this influx of energy, which isn't just going to be Jupiter, it isn't just going to be Venus and Ceres, it's also going to be the Sun from the 22nd and Mercury from the 29th. And they're going to be forging key links with Jupiter. So what is this Jupiterian energy? Well, Jupiter is visiting your sector of everyday money for the first time in 12 years. But also it's your sector of your self-worth. And if that has taken a bit of a pummeling with Saturn's transit, what Jupiter can do is levitate things, make you feel better about you. Jupiter can, of course, it's your ruling planet, give you that sense that everything is possible. And over the last year, it has given you the chance to express your skills and talents in a brilliant way. It's just you may feel that you haven't quite got the rewards for all that creative input and hard work, but it's going to come. So the Sun begins this month in your sign, fortifying for your personal physical vitality. But on the 4th, there is a quarter moon. And this quarter moon occurs in the part of your horoscope to do with home, emotion, and also to do with family issues as well. And there is a square between the Sun and the Moon, but also the Sun and Neptune. So Neptune's very close to this quarter moon. And it's possible that someone quite close to you could be quite doubtful about some of the things that you're trying to do, or the demands of someone close, their emotional neediness could potentially deflect you from the mission that you're determined to push forwards with. The great news, however, is that although Mercury has been in a very private part of your scope, along with Mars, and Mars is going to continue in that area for the whole of December, which has seen your emotions a little bit up and down in the last half of November, and it will be so for the rest of this month. There is still the potential for some turbulence, particularly around past issues that are unresolved. On the 7th of this month, Mercury returns to the place where the retrograde began at the end of October in the sign of Scorpio, which for you is deeply psychological. It went forwards on the 20th of November, and as I say, it speeds up, goes forwards, returns to that point of 27 degrees Scorpio on the 7th of December. But it is on the 9th of December that you're really going to start to move into the moment. And that's when Mercury moves into your sign. Now, it's true that Mercury is in detriment in the sign of Sagittarius, but I think generally for you, it's going to be a real good news story. It's going to see you feeling much more alert, less worrisome, because these energies in your 12th solar house are not the easiest. But you know, Mars is still going to be very much an ally to you, because it just suggests that the things that you're doing behind the scenes, even if it's for charitable activities or organisations, as Mars from the 7th to the 18th forges a link with Neptune, the areas where you are showing a great deal of thought to those who are less fortunate can bring their own karmic reward. Also, Venus is forging a beautiful link from the 6th to the 10th with Neptune, and there could be someone who really does delight you with an appreciation of your past caring, thoughtfulness. There could be a gift coming your way, or is there going to be someone about to emerge who lets you know just how much they care about you in a more romantic context? If this does happen, it wouldn't be a surprise if it was someone you already knew or who came through your family situation. Now, there is a full moon on the 12th, and it occurs in the sign of Gemini, your opposite sign. There could be someone over the next couple of weeks who thinks that you're being a bit too single-minded about what you're trying to achieve. But if you are focused on improving your financial lot, I don't feel that it can have too much of a complaint about it. And sometimes we do have to just stick to the program, even if people are critical. But just bear in mind that someone may demand your attention a little bit more, and perhaps they have a point. But if you're really focused on something that's for the good of everyone close to you, then you may need to remind them of that fact. Now, from the 16th through to the 24th, Mars is going to also be forging a beautiful angle to both Saturn and Pluto. Now, Saturn and Pluto since 2008, Saturn in the last couple of years have been transforming the very foundations of your existence, and it won't necessarily have been very easy. But as I said before, the effort, the perspiration, the application that you've been putting in behind the scenes, which hasn't necessarily received the recognition you deserve, can start to show signs of firming up, and it can give you a tremendous buzz to feel that things are moving forwards in this way. Also, on the 20th, Venus switches out of your sector of everyday resources and into the flirty third house, perfect for Christmas time. In the run-up to Christmas Day, well, Venus is in a square to Uranus. And there could be somebody that you work with, that you're having some banter with, and there could be a real spark of attraction. On Christmas Day itself, the moon is in your sign. This gives you the ability to sense everybody's emotions in a very immediate way, but also just be aware that not everybody necessarily will be quite as attuned to your feelings. That's just the way it goes. However, the sun does move on the 22nd into Capricorn, and it's joined on the 29th by Mercury. But before then, on the 26th, we have an amazing solar eclipse, which can propel you into the first half of 2020 in a much more upbeat frame of mind when it comes to your financial prospects, especially as the sun is then going to be meeting up with Jupiter. And although the North Node on the other side of the heavens, which is to do with the emotional pull of your situation, it's very much to do with very deep and shared resources, and potentially even a very romantic resources. Although that's in opposition to the Sun and Jupiter, I think there's going to be a real feel-good factor as this year comes to a close, even if there are certain things you still want to improve or achieve in 2020. It's more your relationship to your circumstances, but most of all your self-worth, which is going to be transformed by Jupiter and Venus and Ceres this month. But as the month draws to a close, the midpoint between the moon and the sun is conjunct Venus in Aquarius. And that suggests that there's going to be a very, very sociable end to this year, particularly on New Year's Eve. And I think as you see in 2020, you can do so with a real sense that things can be shifting for you, that all that application that you've shown can be shaping up, and that Saturn is going to start moving forwards and getting quicker, ultimately moving into Aquarius twice in the coming year. And that will see a shift of emphasis in your situation, which you will really appreciate. If you'd like to know what 2020 will hold for you as an individual beyond your zodiac sign or ascendant, please order your 12-month personal horoscope by clicking the link beneath this video. You can get 30% off plus the rest of 2019 free. But for now, I'd like to say a very genuine thanks for all your watches throughout the last year. As you know, the last 3 or 4 years has been particularly difficult for me at both a private and also health level. I have had the joy of celebrating, meeting and marrying my wife, but if you've stuck through me during that time, I'm very grateful. And 2020 is going to see me much more energized, a lot more videos coming out through YouTube, a lot more live, but I really appreciate your watches, and for now wish you a very happy Christmas and a happy new year.